So guys, today we're going to be doing a little bit of long division. Now I'm not going to do much of it as we have two more videos where I will be inviting some of my learners to come solve a couple of problems with you. So I will just do the basics. So let's start with a two-digit number divided by a one-digit number. Say we have the number 17 divided by 5, right? Now, there's one question that I'd like you to always keep in mind, right? And the question is, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Now, you're going to write down the letter of every word of that question. So D for does, M for McDonald's, S for sell, C for cheese, and then B for burgers. Now, this is what the letters actually mean. D stands for divide, M stands for multiply, S stands for subtract, C stands for check, and then B stands for bring down the next number. All right, so let's go. 17 divided by 5. First thing you want to do is to draw your division sign. And then inside, you're going to write down your dividend, which is 17. And then you're going to write down your divisor outside, which is 5. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is say, you're going to divide digit by digit, right? So you're going to say 1 divided by 5, which is the same as saying, how many times does 5 go into 1? Now, 5 does not go into 1, so we're going to write down a 0 on top as a placeholder, right? After doing that, we're going to move on. We're basically going to move on to the next digit. However, we combine it with the first digit, right? So instead of saying 5 into 1, we're now going to say 5 into 17. How many times is 5 going to 17? And we can count that up. 5, 10, 15. So it goes in 3 times. You're going to write your 3 right on top of the division sign here. Now you have just divided, right? Because you divided 17 by 5. Now you have to multiply. You are going to multiply your quotient, which is your 3, the number you just got, with your divisor, which is your 5. So you are now going to say 3 multiplied by 5, and that should give you 15. Let me just erase here quickly. You're going to write down your 15 down here. Now that we've multiplied, what's next? We have to subtract. Now, some learners get confused as to what exactly they need to subtract. Always keep in mind, the numbers you need to subtract will always line themselves up, right? So you have the 17 and 15 lined up. That means you're going to minus 15 from 17, right? Let's go ahead and minus. What is 7 minus 5? That should give us 2. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So the final answer is 2. You've subtracted. Now, the next step is C, which means to check. Now, you're going to check if 5 goes into 2. Does 5 go into 2? No, it does not, right? You're done checking. Is there any number left to bring down? I don't see it. If there was, it would be here. That means there's no number to bring down. So this tells us that our final answer is 3 remainder 2. 3 remainder 2. Now let's solve the next one quickly. Our second one will be 217 divided by 4. 217 divided by 4. Now remember, the first thing that we need to do before we even start is to draw our division sign. Now, a division sign can look like this, or sometimes it can look a little fancy like this. Doesn't really matter. It's all the same to me. All right, so let's go. Now, what number goes on the inside of the division sign? 217, because 217 is our dividend. And then our divisor goes on the outside. Right. And then we start. Remember, we're going to go digit by digit. Digit by digit. Let's go. 2 divided by 4, or how many times does 4 go into 2? That is 0 times. Let's write down our placeholder here. Now we're going to rope in the 1. Instead of saying 2, we're going to say 21, right? Now, does 4 go into 21? I think so. Let's count. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 4 goes into 21 5 times. That means we're going to write our 5 right here. We are done dividing. Now we need to multiply. What exactly are we multiplying? 5 times 4. 5 times 4 will give us 20. We write it down here. Now that we're done multiply, our next step is to subtract. 21 minus 20. Now keep in mind, we're not going to say 217 minus 20. It's 21 because we divided 21 and not 217. Right? Now let's go ahead. 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. And then 2 minus 2 will be 0. And now all we need to do is say, we've just subtracted. So next we need to check if 4 goes into 1. Does it? No, it does not. So what is our next step? To bring down. This time we do have a number to bring down, and that is the 7. Let's bring down the 7. Now that we've brought down the 7, we're going to start the procedure all over again, right? So we're going to say 17 divided by 4, or how many times does 17 go, how many times does 4 go into 17? We can count that up. 4, 8, 12, 16. Now that's 4 times, right? So we're going to write down our 4 right over here. Now that we've divided, we need to multiply 4 times 4, and that should give us 16. We're going to write our 16 right here. Now that we've multiplied, we need to subtract. What are we subtracting? Remember, the numbers that line themselves up. 17 minus 16. Now let's work this out quickly. 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now that we have subtracted, we need to check our answers, right? We need to check if 4 goes into 1. Does 4 go into 1? No, it does not. Do we have another number to bring down? If we did, it would be here, and I don't see a number there, so we don't have a number to bring down. So what this tells us is that our answer is 54 remainder 1. Now, there's a way to check if your answer is correct or not, right? And all you need to do is to do the inverse operations. So in this whole process, we have divided, multiplied, and subtracted. So what we need to do now is to multiply and add, right? Okay, now what do I mean by that? So you're going to say 4, right? You're going to say 4 multiplied by 54 and then plus 1. Okay, now if this answer is correct, then 4 times 44 plus 1 should give us 217. Now let's work that out quickly. 54 multiplied by 4. Let's multiply first. All right. 4 times 4 is equal to 16. And then 4 times 50 should give us 200. Now let's add these numbers together. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. Bring down the 2. Now we still need to add the 1. So 216 plus 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. Bring down the 1. Bring down the 2. So we know that even doing the reverse operations, our answer of 54 remainder 1 was actually correct, because if you do your operations in reverse, it actually takes us back to the initial number, which is 217. That was just a quick way for you to verify if your answer is correct or not. Now, please stay in tune for the next 2 videos, as I have 2 of my learners that will go through a couple of problems with you. Thank you for tuning in.